Has become a weakening thing amongst us. It is a warning. We're in a condition for it. How am I toxic? How are we toxic? How are we or I or we toxic? How are you toxic? Your thoughts and feelings. How you got toxic thoughts and toxic feelings, right? We're going to analyze offense, defense. We're going to analyze thoughts and feelings. We're going to break it down a little more when we analyze thoughts and feelings, though, because we're going to have thoughts and feelings, of course, mind, body, and soul. People who know these things. I have thoughts, I have feelings, I got a mind, I got a body and soul. You see what I'm saying? So we're going to talk about some simple humanistic analysis that we all can understand. How am I or we toxic? And we're going to use these analysis. How am I or we toxic? I or we toxic economically, politically, culturally. How is it poison? How is it dangerous? How can it kill me? Culturally, socially, physically, biologically, anatomically, emotionally, mentally, psychologically, intellectually, and spiritually. How am I or we toxic? Usually, no downtowns or people. It's not a lot of public restrooms. I know people who ride the bus don't usually have to use the bathroom like that. It's never been a lot of public restrooms around like that. And here it is now, an increase in public restrooms and some of these things. I don't know why. Incontinence means you can't hold back. It means you can't hold back. And of course, when this happens to your bowels and urine and bowels and things like that, we see the irritable bowel syndrome increasing. We even see people starting to increase urinating during sex. I mean, they're calling it squirting. There's such thing as squirting. I don't want to get into all that, but there's a such thing as squirting for a female. But then urinating during sex is not squirting, and that's not what the purpose of that is. Of course, as a man, we understand that our urethra but ejaculation and urine both come out of the same urethra. They both out of the same tube for us. A woman has two different holes, a urethra and a vagina. The squirting would come from the vagina, not the urethra. So at that point, just saying the incontinence increase, we've seen the Depends commercials, and then we see it being acted out there where for some reason these things aren't even supposed to coincide. When you start to have sex, your release of bowels and things cuts off. It's incompatible. Or it's supposed to be, whatever. Yeah, different things, different strokes. But anyway, like I said, the increase in incontinence, we've seen the Depends commercials, we've seen the increase in having medications for these conditions. We've seen a rise in spiritual weakness. We saw a Virginia pastor. He stood up and he said, well, I'm going to do this anyway. And then we saw the devil get a chance to strike that pastor down. And I'm just going to interpret it like that for right now. But anyway, some guy said he was going to have his congregation come together anyway, despite the mandates, and that guy died from COVID-19, from coronavirus. Toxic environment 2, toxicity and incompatibility. We are living incompatible with the earth, others, and within ourselves. What does it mean to be toxic? Toxic is poison. Of course, we talk about also toxic relationships. Toxic leads to disease. And of course, we are inside of COVID-19 condition. Poison makes a person sick or even kills them. Snake venom is a toxic poison. Some spiders and insects sting or bite with a toxic poison. Poison can be an offense or a defense. When we talk about this like that also, if something is an offense or it's a defense. It's all didn't just come out of thin air. What led up to the coronavirus and the COVID-19 condition that we are in, it's very important to pay attention to this one. Let's evaluate yourself for yourself, but in the us part of the self and the us, well, we're going to use some of these things, and I'm going to show you some things about our incompatibility with the self and us, and the signs that things were going bad before now. So what are the facts around us about us? You see what I'm saying? And of course, you can be honest with yourself about yourself, so that you can remove the disease. But of course, we're gonna have to evaluate ourselves. We're gonna have to evaluate us because COVID-19 is something that's not an individual thing. There is, some individuals with it, but it's not just an individual thing. We'll talk about what led up to COVID-19, what leads up to COVID-19. So I call it the osmosis and metamorphosis of evil. And anyway, what were the precursors or the forerunners that led up? So I say we're going to use facts and events and real things about us and self and us. Have had a change in our chemistry. Our electromagnetic interactions are changing. You know what I'm saying? Toxic environment 2, toxicity and incompatibility. We are living incompatible with the earth, others, and within ourselves. What does it mean to be toxic?